Did you know that 2 out of every 3 guys are going to experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? I know for me it was more like 25. I wish keeps had been around when I was younger because advancements in science meant that there are now treatments that can help combat the symptoms of hair loss and help you keep the hair that you have. You can get an expert treatment plan without ever having to visit a doctor's office or pharmacy, delivered directly to your front door, all at about half the cost of a traditional pharmacy. Yes, Keeps offers clinically proven, research-backed treatments to stop hair loss and improve your hair growth. And because it's a simple subscription model, their regular refill reminders and fast shipping will keep you stocked on all the product you need to take care of your hair. How does it work? Well, for one thing, there's no need to visit a doctor's office, schedule a quick online consult, and a package will arrive at your door discreetly, and you can use it in the privacy of your own home. Each plan comes with a year of free messaging so you can connect with your medical provider at any time. Hair loss stops with Keeps. You guys can get a 50% discount by going to keeps.com/TopTenz. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/TopTenz, or just click the link in the description below to receive 50% off your first order. And now today's video. Military history shows us that no matter where you're from, strict discipline, training, and dedication, along with some innovation and cleverness, can do amazing things. But along with that comes a long list of rituals, beliefs, and superstitions that sometimes make sense and sometimes are absolutely baffling to outsiders and sometimes even insiders. Take, for instance, these more unusual examples of things that have at one time or another been considered unlucky by members of the military. Number 10. Apricots. The military has a long history of having food problems. Soldiers in the field need to be fed, and that has not always been easy to do. Many of the methods to ensure this happens have been fumbles at best. Check out some reviews of MREs to see just how bad the food can sometimes get. But there are also some unexpected problems that have arisen with food in the military, and one of the strangest deals with apricots. Specifically, the Marines consider the dried fruit extremely unlucky. Back in 1968, a correlation was drawn up in the minds of Marines of the 1st Amphibious Tractor Battalion. Anytime someone ate apricots, they got hit by enemy artillery. The answer was apparently clear. Apricots caused the enemy to attack. Legend has it that the bad luck started in World War II, when numerous vehicles that had been destroyed were found to be carrying one item of cargo in common: apricots. By the time Vietnam rolled around, Marines didn't want to be near anyone eating apricots lest they become targets themselves. Apparently it got so bad that if a fellow Marine caught you eating an apricot in the tent you shared, you'd be kicked out until the apricot was gone. Even in modern times, apricots have been blamed for vehicle breakdowns in the Persian Gulf. The military stopped including them in MREs back in 1995. Number 9. Charms candy. Apricots are not alone in their cursed presence in MREs. The dreaded Charms candy was another item that made soldiers wary, to the point that the military had to stop issuing them in MREs as well. The little candy squares were mostly just fruit-flavored sugar, but no Marine would eat them. Stories tell of new Marines having them slapped right out of their hands if they tried to eat them. The reason was simple. Charms were bad luck, and everybody knew it. Charms could do anything from setting off roadside bombs to bringing mortar fire down on your position. All the Marine had to do was open the package and bring the horror. The different flavors had different effects. Lime would bring rain, lemon would sabotage your vehicle, raspberry, that'd kill someone. So how did the Marines overcome the danger of charms? Well, they just threw them away. Soon the Marine superstition made the army, and drill instructors were outright telling soldiers to throw the unopened candies on the field. By 2007, the DoD stopped including them in MREs since they were such a problem. And number 8. Clean coffee mugs. Lots of military personnel enjoy a stiff cup of coffee in the morning, and those in the Navy are no different. What is different is how coffee cups are treated in the Navy. If you want to fit in, you don't clean your mug. Ever. The nastier and more terrifying your coffee mug is, the better. This habit has become so ingrained that sailors keep it up at home, with rumors of spouses and partners being remarkably unimpressed with the outcome. The idea is that a well-seasoned coffee mug, which is to say one that's stained dark as night, shows stature and seniority. It means that it's seen a heck of a lot of cups in its day, and that means you as the cup owner have been around the block yourself. There's also a rumor that somehow it makes the coffee taste better. A filthy mug becomes a point of pride and may impress others. Consider it like having the biggest scar or the grossest wound. It's a weird way to compete and show some prowess, even if it's vaguely disgusting. Number 7. Air Force wings. In the Air Force, when you graduate from undergraduate pilot training, you're issued your wings. Even though it seems like the badge issued to you in honor of your graduation is the sort of thing you should actually use and wear, the opposite is true. According to Air Force tradition, doing so is bad luck. Instead, you need to break those rings right away and give half to someone important to you. The two halves of the wings should only come together when the pilot dies. The tradition is actually older than the Air Force itself and dates dates all the way back to the Army Air Corps and is generally accepted as official conduct that every pilot should engage in. Number 6. Lucky cigarettes. Have you ever heard of a lucky cigarette? In the military, this tradition is about as old as cigarettes themselves. The idea is that upon opening a new pack of smokes, one cigarette is flipped upside down and put back in the pack. That's the lucky one. You don't smoke the lucky one until the very end of the pack. The exact origins of the tradition are mired in mystery, but there have been some guesses. One is that the tradition goes back to the Second World War when soldiers were given Lucky Strike cigarettes. In this version, every cigarette but one is flipped so that the Lucky Strike stamp was on top. Since cigarettes were unfiltered back then, you could smoke either end. If the cigarette was flipped, you'd burn the Lucky Strike logo away quickly so that if you later dropped the cigarette, the stamp would be gone and the enemy wouldn't know what country the smoker had been from. If you managed to live to the end of your pack, you smoked the final unflipped one, proving yourself lucky. The Vietnam version of the story sees soldiers flipping just one cigarette. They were filtered at the time, so the one flipped made more sense in this context, but again, the idea was that you were lucky if you lived long enough to get to it. Number 5. Snipers taking hog's teeth from enemy snipers. In the world of snipers, there are pigs and hogs. A pig is a professionally instructed gunman, meaning that the sniper has learned how to use their rifle. But the pig becomes an official hog when they have taken out an enemy sniper and are now a hunter of gunmen. When a Marine sniper graduates from sniper training, they're given a hog's tooth. That's a 7.62 round of ammunition on a nylon cord. But this isn't technically a real hog's tooth. A real hog's tooth is a round from your enemy's gun taken after you've killed them. Part of the law of the hog's tooth states that any sniper in the world is destined to be taken out by another sniper someday. But if you could get the drop on your sniper and take that bullet, your bullet, it becomes your hog's tooth and proves you cheated death and are essentially invincible. And, at least in head-to-head with another sniper in the moment, that's kind of true. If you and another sniper are squaring off, odds are that only one of you is going to survive. Considering you not only need to find a sniper, square off, defeat them, make your way to their position, and then take a round from their weapon, getting a true hog's tooth is a hell of a task. But once you have it, you're the luckiest man alive. To not take it would be most unlucky, as it means the bullet with your name on it is still out there somewhere. Number 4. Lighting 3 cigarettes on the same match. The saying 3 on a match isn't the most well-known in the world, but you may have run across it before. The superstition states that it is bad luck to light 3 different cigarettes with a single match. The potential origin is the First World War and was a warning against snipers. The idea was that if you're hiding in a trench or some such at night and you light your match, the enemy sniper will see the light and the cigarette and then take aim on the second and fire on the third. The superstition seems to have returned stateside and spread among smokers who didn't actually understand the reason why it might be bad luck. It also only worked when people were using matches, which is why it's died out significantly in modern times with the drop-off in both smoking and matches to light them. Another theory suggests that it's the idea of invoking the Holy Trinity for a callous and unimportant act that makes it unlucky, as anything done in threes could be considered disrespectful and may open them to evil. Number 3. Even saying the name of ham and lima beans was unlucky. You can find a lot of places online that will rank the tastes of MREs. Some seem to be surprisingly good, while many are food-borne atrocities. Many of these deal with modern MREs, however, and won't know the scourge of old-timey MREs. One dish that has become infamous and dates back to World War II, though it seems to have survived all the way through to Vietnam, is ham and lima beans. The dish was so bad that soldiers refused to even use the proper name for it for fear it would be unlucky. Instead, they give it a new name that can't be said in polite company. Ham and MFers would be one sanitized way of referring to it. According to James Mosley, a US Marine who served in Vietnam, they were also known as beans and balls, beans and dicks, chopped eggs and ham, and nobody ate them. Number 2. Military eggs will lower your libido. As we've seen, soldiers can be a bit finicky about what they eat. One of the oldest and most pervasive food rumors deals with eggs. As the story goes, the military was doctoring the breakfast of the soldiers with saltpeter in an effort to lower everyone's sex drive. The rumor is alleged to have started back in the Navy during colonial times. The rumors enjoyed a long life, owing to the fact that there is anecdotal evidence to support it. Men sign up, all virile and full of life, and then, as the weeks of training go by, they find their energy levels lower and their libido has fallen off a cliff. So the idea that it's something outside of them, a kind of chemical sabotage, seems to make sense, even if the truth is that they're just exhausted. Ironically, saltpeter doesn't actually reduce sexual urges, but the military still doesn't hide it in food either way, so there's not much to worry about. Number 1. It's bad luck to sheath a combat knife before it draws blood. Have you ever come across a piece of knowledge that everyone in a certain group just knows? That seems to be the case with one of the most widespread superstitions in combat history that also has the curious distinction of being totally untrue in the sense that everybody must agree it can't possibly be followed. This one goes beyond just the military to anyone who may use a bladed weapon for fighting, and it states that if you draw a blade, then you can't sheath it until it's drawn blood. On the surface, that's some very warrior stuff. It even shows up in fiction dealing with alien races. And it could never be true because people need to clean their blades or otherwise maintain them all the time when no enemies are around, so it's silly to think that you'd be stabbing someone anytime you draw a blade. That said, it is everywhere. You can find about 3 million hits if you Google it. The myth seems to specifically target combat knives, but it's not exclusive to the US military by any means. Hopefully, no one out there is actually practicing it, but it certainly seems like most people know it.